Alright guys, we are going to jump right into this. I just got done watching Urban Meyer's press conference, and a lot of good stuff, a lot of really interesting stuff went down. So I actually took some notes for this video, so if you see me looking down a lot, kind of just going over my notes, because there was a lot that was said in this press conference. So the first thing is, he was asked about free agency and if he is going to be deferring in free agency a lot. And his answer actually kind of surprised me. Stated how he looks over everything, looks at all 32 teams, but ultimately it is up to Trent Baalke. Baalke? I don't even know how to pronounce the dude's name. Which really surprises me, because with that alpha male kind of mentality that Urban Meyer has, I would have thought for sure that Trent Baalke was just kind of the guy that writes the checks and Urban was on top of everything. But according to him, that is not the case, which is a little surprising. Also stated that position coaches have a very large say in who they sign and I guess who they re-sign, which I think is also interesting and huge. Second question he was asked is if he prioritized free agency by position. States how when he first got here, did a deep dive, him and his staff did a deep dive into the current roster that they have, and then for about 3 weeks dived into who they believed was going to be available. So hopefully that's enough of a plan in place for free agency to where next Wednesday we got the money, throw the bag at him, get the people, bring him in here. Unfortunately, we ain't going to be getting Leonard Williams because the Giants screwed that up for us and franchise tagged him, but you can't get them all. He also stated that him and his staff do kind of have like a loose top 10 in needs. Next question they were asked was about Cam Robinson being franchise tagged, which I had talked about that earlier. The offensive line coach, I'm not sure what his name is. I think it's like Warhop or something weird like that. Apparently really likes him, was a big part in it. Had some conversations with him throughout the process. Urban Meyer did. I kind of sounded like Yoda there, talking a little bit backwards. Says that Cam Robinson has a very high ceiling. Feels that he is actually better than what they would have had available. That tells me that the 49ers, he probably has like an inside feeling that the 49ers will more than likely be re-signing Trent Williams, and whatever the Ravens were wanting for Orlando Brown is just too much than what we're willing to give up, which I'm okay with that. This next question was strength and weaknesses. A lot of weaknesses. Emphasizes quarterback. Emphasizes the quarterback position at number 1 overall. Mentions Gardner Minshew a little bit, but not really glowing praise, glowing review from Mr. Minshew. Sorry about that, Gardner. Also mentioned that the defensive struggled, to put it nicely, was abysmal. Mentions that a defense, which is true, starts in the defensive line and then goes back. Mentions that the secondary needs to be reamped, which it definitely does. Excuse me, sorry about that. Says that he feels the wide receiver position is good, but is missing the big play home run guy, which I'm not exactly sure what he means by that, because if he just means like a deep threat, I think DJ Chark could be, and if not, Allen Robinson, bring back A-Rob, we want you back. Or does he mean someone like drafting a Kadarius Toney at 25 as that guy who can take a bubble screen and take it to the house? Who knows? We'll find out as the time comes. Likes James Robinson a lot, which who doesn't? He'd be a moron if he didn't. Needs a tight end, no duh. The Chargers are not tagging Hunter Henry. Get him. Get him. Likes the interior of the offensive line. So all the Andrew Norwell stuff, I guess, was just bogus, because multiple times in that interview he brings up Andrew Norwell and how much he likes him, and how personally as a person he really likes him and is actually friends with him, which I didn't know that. So all that stuff is, being put to bed. I guess the whole offensive line as a whole, I wouldn't expect the Jaguars to do anything, either free agency or draft, with the offensive line. Now that I'm really thinking about it, which kind of, the offensive line is average. Trevor ain't going to be walking into a situation like Joe Burrow was, where the Bengals are just abysmal. Because if you go back and look at the analytics, Gardner Minshew caused a lot of the sacks for the Jaguars, and Mike Glennon is a statue. So it's, the offensive line ain't as bad as people say. I will just say that. And with good coaching, he thinks Jawan Taylor's best days are ahead of him, which is huge. Asked about the secondary, about CJ Henderson. I did not know this. Apparently CJ Henderson had labrum surgery this offseason. I didn't know that. Apparently he's recovering well. He raved about CJ Henderson, really likes him. But outside of that, the cupboard is bare, and we ain't got a whole lot left. So I'm not really sure. I haven't done too much of a dive yet into who's available for the secondary. Because I know the Broncos tagged their safety, Justin Simmons. He was a guy I was kind of hoping we could bring in here. But without him being available, we may have to go draft or whoever's left in free agency, because we ain't got a whole lot left. Was asked about the salary cap plan, and again he just defer. I don't know. I feel like Jaguars reporters are so stupid. Like, they ask the same question that someone just asked like 5 minutes ago, and he again, just reinstates that it's Trent Baalke, which again I still can't get over that, because I thought he would just be Urban's yes man, but apparently he's the guy making the picks, like really, really making the picks. Not that Urban doesn't have a say, but Urban is not like pounding the table for this guy. It's going to be Trent, so can't be any worse than David Caldwell. That's all I got to say. Talked again about Cam Robinson. Asked if he has specifically talked with Cam about being tagged. Mentions that he has had multiple conversations with Cam leading up to this point, but has not actually talked to him about being tagged, and also reiterated that he wants a long-term deal eventually, or a long-term deal is possible for Cam, but that he wants Cam to be in Duval, as he puts it, long-term. And then they asked about the Chris Doyle thing, which I kind of figured that was going to happen, and about if they're bringing in anyone to replace him, and Urban pretty much just said it's still kind of a process, that they brought in some people, still kind of evaluating who could be out there. And then they asked him what the drastic change was, and he's not going to say it, but it was kind of like yeah, I really shouldn't have done that, especially in 2021 in today's age. That's really what it was. Shouldn't have hired a guy with a history like that. But his answer was that he felt, and Shad Khan And Chris Doyle himself and Balky felt that it was a distraction for the organization. No duh. He should have known that before you hired him. He's asked about the new facilities. Said that players deserve the very best. I guess the whole kind of like in line with making Teal primary look good, feel good, play good kind of a situation. Asked about the defensive line. And I said this in a previous video, in the Jersey video. I talked about Josh Allen. I love Josh Allen. And for the very same reasons that Urban Meyer loves Josh Allen. He's a great character guy. He loves I'm getting tongue tied. He loves the Jaguars. He is a family guy. They will never have to worry about him being on the 6 o'clock news. You know, he's everything he does. He's just such a great character guy. And he's a beast. I think with good coaching this year, you will see what we saw his rookie year for the next however many years. Says that he would love for him to remain a Jaguar pretty much for his whole career. And on Twitter, again, because I can't say enough good things about the guy, he retweeted that quote and said feelings mutual, which I love it. How can you not love it? I love it. I love it. Pay the man. Pay him already. Who cares? I love him. Also stated that he loves Devon Hamilton, although he said his name wrong. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he meant Devon Hamilton, the third-round pick rookie out of Ohio State from last year, and mentioned how much he loves his play. I think he's better than Taven Bryan's sorry self. Reinstates, I think this was his nice way of saying that outside of those two, we ain't got nothing. Because he's pretty much said that, you know, every good team starts with great defensive line play. And it's the truth. You win in the trenches, man. If you don't win in the trenches, you know, it doesn't matter how good Trevor Lawrence is. If we can't pressure the other team's quarterback, you know, we're not going to win very many games. So I would be kind of shocked if we can't get big impact in free agency on the defensive line. I would expect that 25th pick to be a defensive tackle. And then he was asked about Trevor Lawrence's pro day. And I wish that he could just be like, yeah, we're taking him. We're taking him. No one else can have him. We're taking him. I wish he could say that. But he can't. And he gave the whole, you know, speech of, well, you know, we're evaluating all the quarterbacks. Hasn't shied away from their picking a quarterback at one. They've kind of outright said it. So, again, Rip Minshew. Sorry, buddy. But, hey, you'll be my favorite backup of all time. At least you'll have that on your resume. Said that he wanted Darrell Bevell and Brian Schottenheimer to see how the ball came off of his hands live and see him throw live. Said that you can watch a guy on film, but until you see it live, it's totally different when you see him live. And that was the whole reason behind that, which they're picking him at one. I don't know what else to say. I'm counting down the days. I'm super excited. He used the quote, he likes where they are with him, talking about Trevor Lawrence. As far as their evaluation, said that they've had several Zoom calls. So for all the headlines, the Jaguars have had 3 Zoom calls with Zach Wilson. Well, they've probably used all 5 already for Trevor. It's ridiculous. They've already, I kind of wrote this in my notes as kind of like a little joke. Because he was asked if they've given Trevor Lawrence a copy, or if they would be allowed to give him a copy of the playbook for the offense. And he does, but also so does every other quarterback who's eligible. So it's still a mystery, I guess. And that was pretty much the last question that they asked him. Really interesting stuff. It was really nice to hear from him. It's the first time we heard from him since he was brought in to be the head coach. And I believe tomorrow Trent Baalke is going to be having another press conference. I'll probably do the same thing with that as I did today. I'm much more interested in that now after knowing that Urban really is not calling the shots when it comes to drafting the guys, that it is him. I just got so much more interested in that guy now. So yeah, I'll be right here, and I'll be here to make my reaction to that. I'll have the same thing. I'll make notes of it. I'll go through with it and just give you guys my thoughts. All right, if you made it this far through the video, please like and subscribe and help your boy out.